Well, we probably have one of the largest group in the United States with respect to informed consumers making that choice. So that's why I think this conversation is so crucial because they really need the information to make an educated choice. And right now, they just don't really have the tools because of relatively sophisticated, I guess, not necessarily marketing, but uh, manipulation by the Monsanto through the federal government and basically eliminating the the labeling of certain foods and making it actually nearly illegal to put a label on it as not containing GMO without some type of government warning. So
Well, as you know, in the beginning with sorry, as you know in the beginning with the RBST, you weren't allowed to label it
right,
as RBST. You know, milk produced without the RBST. We're not in that place currently, and we would certainly not like to be in that place. But the greatest alternative for your listeners is at this time is to buy organic because that's your safest bet. Because that, if it is certified organic, it has been grown without genetically modified seed. And that's been my position for the better part of a decade on a personal level is I buy organic. And that assures me, as much as one can be assured in this world, that what I'm getting is a product that was grown without the genetically modified seed.
so there are a number of certifications for organic also. The USDA, of course, being one, and I'm wondering if you could just comment on those different certifications and the ones that Whole Food uses.
CCOF, there's organic Oregon Tilt. There's a lot of different organizations, and I can't speak about any one of them individually other than that they are all reviewed for their their authenticity, for their accuracy. That's something that we do. We audit a great deal,
So if that
particularly on fresh
certification,
produce.
if your audit doesn't confirm that their certification process is up to standards, then you don't accept that label in your store.
Then you wouldn't accept that label in the store.
Okay, and that's the current process or policy of Whole Foods.
Correct.
Okay, well, that certainly sounds like a good approach, um, and a reasonable process, of course. With a multi-billion-dollar company and multi hundreds of millions of billions of dollars in it is for the food industry. This process doesn't happen overnight. It's going to take some time, but it sounds like we're moving in a direction to give consumers the power they need to make an educated choice and really shift the situation around to more what is currently present in Europe. Well, I think that pretty much sums up, what we wanted to review, just to really get a thorough understanding of what had happened and transpired, and really clear up some of the confusion that it appears that the Organic Consumers Association was creating with their campaign. I think that both parties seem to be well intentioned, but uh, looking at it from an overview, it seems we have the same end goal, and it seems somewhat foolish to be divisive when we can really work together to achieve the goal.
We should be together on this issue. We shouldn't be attacking each other. We do, as you point out, have the same ultimate goals. So, you know, I've talked to the folks at OCA and encouraged them to, you know, attack the people who need to be attacked and not the people who are on your side. We're on, you know, our business. Even if you get down to the just the practical business part of it, our business survival requires the integrity of these products. And so we certainly wouldn't join with Monsanto.
Sure. Well, I guess one of the Organic Consumer Association's concern was what appeared from their perspective to be somewhat of a deceptive practice where the typical consumer from their perspective is going into the Whole Foods market and with the understanding that they provide a higher quality product and really in many ways is setting the standard for the contemporary United States food store and really leading the field from most people's observations. But the concern is that the thought is that most of the items that are going to be purchased in there are going to be healthier, and there really isn't a significant effort being done to differentiate the healthier organic brands versus the ones that are more traditional. And I'm wondering if you can
Well,
comment. I mean, that's my understanding of the concern, and I'm wondering if you can comment on that.
well, the push for the company from procurement, which is my area, is to increase the amount of organic in every category. I mean, we're at 53% of our total sales in produce are organic now. There are products that are not available year round. You know, there are a lot of reasons why it's only 53%. There are apples you can't buy on the East Coast because of the growing conditions. But we keep pushing that, and as the consumer, and there's also supply issues. I mean, people want strawberries year round. If we don't have strawberries, they're going down the street. And so we need to be able to supply what the consumer is asking for. The push is for organic. Our talks and meetings with vendors are always towards the organic and organic ingredients because one, that's our business, and two, that's our mission. It's our first core value is to sell the highest quality natural and organic food available. And my personal mission has been for 40 years of being in the industry is to provide those foods to as many people as possible at the best price possible. And so that's what we.
Well, I guess the concern is, since the food category that is most appropriate here is the produce. And if you go typically into the produce department, which I think is, and most people listening, is the most important section of the grocery store, you really need to be a discerning consumer to differentiate between the organic versus the conventional. I mean, it's there, but you have to look really carefully. You just can't blindly pick up a cucumber without looking and examining whether it's conventional or organic, because it's just that's been my experience. And I think
That's absolutely true. But I believe, and I've always believed, personally, and I think it's a company position, is that we, while we do our due diligence and we sign the product, we don't want the consumer to abdicate their own personal responsibility for knowing what it is that they're buying. I don't want to be in that position, personally. I want folks to be aware, and if they're aware, then they will make the choices that work for them, and hopefully those choices will be organic. And we've done, when you go look at what we've done with seafood rating, with rating products in the case on their sustainability, and rating and telling people that the product is red and not sustainable, and that we're going to be eliminating that product over time, is I think a fairly courageous position for a food retailer to take. Same thing with the meat. Well, we've just announced the 5-step program on our beef, chicken, and pork. Those are all designed to move the continuum forward for, in that case, animal compassion, as well as the condition, the ingredients, whatever the feed and all of that, towards organic and towards as clean as possible. So we're doing the same thing with the non-GMO project. We do the same thing in pushing the organic, the vendors towards organic and featuring organic. I think we're doing a pretty good job of providing the consumer with an alternative. I mean, who else
Well,
does more?
exactly. I don't think anyone could argue the fact that on a nationwide basis, if you're going to seek out healthy foods, the best place to go is Whole Foods as a brand. I mean, there's no brand that beats you. You've really achieved the pinnacle of that perspective. And you know you're in most of the major markets, so it's relatively easy to find a place to acquire good food. The challenge, I'm not sure that I understand that you've addressed it, is it's there, it's in the store, but it's I think it could be a lot made a lot easier if the label, not the label, but the identification of conventional versus organic. I mean, typically it's a small little symbol, not symbol, but a word that you really have to search for rather than it being, something that's really obvious. And I think there's that many people are confused because it's not clearer.
Well, I mean, there are uh, there are regulations because we're a certified organic retailer. There are regulations for how you put the produce on the stand, and right down to what can be adjacent to a product. You can't have an organic and a conventional apple touching each other, and so you have to have the break. So it's not as it isn't as difficult in my mind to discern the organic and produce because it is signed organic and it is signed conventional. It is signed local. In fact, at some point we have a forest of signs, and if anything, we're trying to communicate too much, and it becomes even, that becomes confusing because there's so much messaging going on.
Sure.
But there is also, on most organic produce, there is a band on the greens, or there is a sticker on the fruit that is identifies it as organic, as well as the signage.
Okay.
And
So
again, I
those
want
are
people to look.
sure. So those are key pointers if you're looking for produce that say you have celery. If it's an organic celery, it's going to have an organic label around it, or a wire wrap. Or if it's a
Exactly.
piece of fruit, it'll have an organic sticker, or some of the vegetables will have them also. So that's another good way to differentiate between the two.
Yeah, it's. I mean, you have to pay attention. I mean, you can't go in blindly, and that's why I don't want to be. I don't want them, the consumer, to not read labels, to not look at signs. I want them to take responsibility for that personally on a personal level, and I think that would be a company policy.
Okay.
Is that you can't get deluded if your eyes are open.
Well, that's terrific, and I thank you for enlightening us as to Whole Foods positions, and also for being a representative of Whole Foods' commitment to really educating the consumer so that we can make a difference and vote with our pocketbook, which is really one of the most powerful economic positions that we can take that will really influence industry in the right direction.
I couldn't agree more. The issue here is that the market and the consumer's choice can change policy, and it will change policy faster than anything that we could do as an industry. So whether you're buying at Whole Foods or you're buying in a conventional store, buy organic and support the non-GMO Project certified product.
Great.